and welcome back to the third place series, as it now is, because Vuptrox have fought back in game 3, and they're looking to push for that reverse. We will see if they can do it, because Fuzzy Esports, there's still just one game that they need to take in order to take this whole series.
Indeed, the stakes are high, and now we are in our fourth match, where Vuptrox are starting on blue side, and Fuzzy Esports are on the red side. It's kind of like, I don't know, the unspoken rule, the gentleman's agreement, I suppose. And so, what is going to be the adaptation? Why are they still banning out the Nunu? I will not understand when Chrissy has had such a phenomenal performance on that Draven. The thing is, the side of Fuzzy Esports just did not get anything to try and shut this Draven down, because they didn't even have a support who could try and face him. They had a Rakan, and that was not working clearly. And so, when you're facing a Thresh and Draven bot lane, it's just impossible when you have such a squishy bot lane duo yourself. So there has to be a change in the bot lane for Fuzzy, because, well, if they're not going to ban it, you kind of have to pick something other.
They definitely do. As the same bans as the last game that would have been a Xayah, but I feel like with Quissy performing, you know what, never mind, they can still ban the Xayah, but the Draven is now open.
The Draven is now going to be open for Chrissy once again if he wants to be going for such high octane gameplay. Silas instead is going to be picked up for Hello It's Anivia, I am assuming. Given that he has had a phenomenal performance last time around, it's no big surprise. However, now, are Fuzzy perhaps going to steal that Draven away? I'm unsure if Kala has any big experience on that pick himself. However, if they were going to be stealing it, that would be probably really ballsy. Instead, looks like they will be defaulting back to Comfort, back to that Syndra, something that has worked for them already. That Lux pick clearly did not do the best into the Silas, and so they're just saying, alright, we need a bit more damage. We're gonna be getting that in the mid lane.
Okay, we also see a Pyke being locked in, a champion unleashed for the first time in this series, a playmaker support. You can get a lot of kills set up, and Fuzzy Esports, you can see them saying, alright, let's get this business done and over with. They already want to get their third place.
They definitely want to finally finish this series. Of course, we're starting a bit earlier than we would be usually because, well, the last game was pretty short and it's still a weekday, so we kind of want to go to sleep relatively early on, I think. However, looks like that's exactly what Fuzzy Esports want to do. As you said, just get it over with. That Pyke, a champion that can find these elites very early on. Now, I said that Syndra likely going to be going into the mid lane. However, technically, we could be seeing it go into the bot lane for Kala. We kind of pointed it out earlier. Didn't necessarily come to fruition, but it can be the flex pick. That's the side of Fuzzy Esports can utilize to get some leads in this early bot lane.
Yeah, it's not gonna be the Draven, but another one of those champions, and Renekton for Bumblebee. One of the champions that I definitely think about when his name comes up, and oh my god, I'm excited. So many power picks now.
So many power picks, definitely something that Bumblebee can try and utilize to get some leads in the top lane. We haven't necessarily seen him do that this series just yet, and so given this change in direction for this top lane of Fuzzy Esports can change up the dynamic quite a lot, especially if we see Hopper coming by. Speaking of Hopper, I'm trying to think of what he could work with. The Nocturne performance wasn't actually bad, it's just that every single lane of his lost, and so he couldn't do anything because, well, he was playing a Nocturne, so he could just run it back unless it's banned away from him. Rek'Sai also a pretty good pick that we have already seen him perform on, so makes sense that Vuptrox just take it away.
Alright, both actually the playmaker supports now, the Nautilus being removed. Rek'Sai was the first ban by Vuptrox Academy. We'll see what the last one is. Also a fun fact, for the fourth time this series, by the choices of both teams, Vuptrox are on blue side, and Fuzzy Esports are on red side.
Yeah, it's the final gentleman's agreement. And now, Olaf being covered. Alright, so I said this before game 1. However, we have seen Hopper play Olaf in their series against CBA, and he performed really well on it. I mean, he got those leads that he needed. As is Olaf, he was invading constantly, and given that he is going to be playing into a Skarner, Olaf is a champion that can just run this Scorpion down. And so, right now, it looks like Fuzzy Esports, they are just locking themselves the tools that they need to try and counter this early game aggression that the side of Vuptrox Academy displayed in the last game.
It's going to be early game versus early game, although it can be altered with those last 2 picks. We'll see what they will be. Still a support and a top lane to be locked in, and Dorser gets back on his Mordekaiser. I'm thinking, what does Lepiggy want to play? Fiddlestick's technically still open. He's had a great Game 3 against Royal Reapers in quarterfinals. He made the game-winning play. He could go back on the champion.
The star is open.
Oh yeah, Rom with Lucian.
Oh yeah, we definitely forgot about that bot lane. One of the strongest duos in the bot lane. Probably just a bit behind Rakan and Xayah. Definitely a power duo that we can speak of. So still, the side of Vuptrox Academy locked themselves a powerful bot lane duo to try and get themselves some early leads in that part of the map. They're going to be running into a Pyke and Syndra. There we go.
Karma.
No.
Is it possible? Or is it Karma top? Is it Karma top? That could also happen.
Ooh, that's a possibility. I think it's gonna be Renekton top lane and Karma mid, given the picks that we know of these players. However, could definitely be flexed around, as you said. However, I do believe that it's gonna be Sinja for Kala. We have seen this guy play it. I am extremely excited to see what he can do on it, especially with someone like Necromercer on a Pyke. He has seen Lepiggy do really well with these hook supports. They're not switching around.
I'm not sure what the rules are exactly about that.
Oh yeah,
I think they're just going to be swapping.
Yeah, all right. So I thought that it was supposed to be. What? The draft is dead, guys. I'm sorry. Okay, so what happened? Bugged, we can't swap it. Bugged, it's bugged, couldn't swap. He couldn't accept Pyke. That's the explanation from Fuzzy Esports sounding. Makes sense, so we're just going to be quickly redoing the draft. Sorry for the issues, ladies and gentlemen. So, it is going to be Pyke and Syndra bot lane playing into a Braum and Lucian. Now, this is a bot lane that I have never actually seen before. I'll be just frank, so that is going to be incredibly interesting to see how it develops. I would imagine that Syndra technically should be having easier time pushing in just because of the Q, but Lucian should technically be having the kill pressure because he does have the Braum, and Syndra and Pyke are still relatively squishy, especially on level 1. So that push prio should technically go the way of Vuptrox, but we'll have to see.
Just running through the bans in this last game. So what was the latest configuration of champions? We had Karma for Bumblebee, Renekton for Z, Syndra for Khaled together with a Pyke. That's a lot of... I mean, we mentioned the early game being the focus, but Fuzzy Esports, they're going full on in around their bot side of the map. I'm not sure how much exactly you want to snowball a Syndra in the bot lane, but if you pay attention to that mid lane, with the roaming Pyke and the Renekton already there, that's gonna be one hell of a powerful win condition if you're Fuzzy Esports.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's all about the snowball, as you rightfully pointed out. I mean, at this point, we've already seen that scaling is not going to be the name of the game for either of the teams. It's been all around. It's been all centered around just getting those kills early on, getting some tools that you need to try and set up these plays, set up these big fights, and that's exactly what the teams have opted for once again. You have the Skarner on Varte, who has already proven to be a formidable pick. You have Necromercer sitting on Pyke, and you have Syndra, who can set up those fights as well. However, there is no clear big engage on the side of Fuzzy Esports. So in that regard, they're going to be a bit more handicapped, as there isn't necessarily a full 5-man possibility for a big stunt unless Necromercer or Kala step up big time in the skirmishes and team fights.
Alright, then that's what we will be looking at. I also am curious about Hello It's Nivia's second game on the Cyrus and Varty's second game on the Skarner. That duo performed really well, alongside of course Christian Lepegui, the whole four really stepping up for Vuptrox Academy visibly in that last game. But these two, they're back on the same champions, and if you look at the comp of Fuzz Esports, there are a few immobile champions that are the perfect targets for this sort of composition. And yeah, I'm gonna repeat it for like 1,000th time, and we'll probably say it a few more times, but early game is the name of this game. It has been the name of this series in many of the games, well, with the notable exception of Game 1. And it will determine whether we'll see a Game 5, or whether Fuzzy Esports will pick that third place.
And the money. It's all about the money, Kachka. Anyway, yeah, all about the early game, all about the individual outplays, and we haven't necessarily pointed our eyes at the bot lane of Vuptrox Academy, not necessarily, simply because we have been so fascinated by this Syndra and Pike pick. However, we have to remember what Braum and Lucian actually do, which is, to put it politely, mess stuff up. You can fill in the actual terms. I would never say this in real life. Regardless, whenever you see Lucian and Braum together, it means that it's an insta-stun whenever Braum hits a Q or an auto attack. That's before level 6. After level 6, he just flashes on top of you, or he can also go for a stopwatch, and he what's it called? No, hex flashes on top of you with the ulti, and there is nothing that you can do to try and run away. And especially when you're playing a Syndra, someone so immobile, that potential for a kill is huge for Vuptrox, just because you get a single piece of CC down on top of her, and she's running a TP. She's not running a cleanse or anything like that, so she's just dead immediately, and Pike cannot do anything to help her just because he's not that kind of guy, you know? He's not gonna hold the door open for the lady. He's just gonna kick it in and march right through. That's the kind of guy that he is.
And I just want to point out how good Braum is into the entire composition of Fuzzy Sports. The only champion that I can see Lepegui have any problems with stopping is Olaf, just because he's immune to all sorts of CC. But Syndra, you can block a lot of that damage, and Pike Renekton, you have got your CC. And so Lepegui should be providing a lot of safety to Chrissy, and that's why if you get some kills on this Lucian, it's gonna be hard to shut him down.
Oh yeah, it's a really good point that he can block those death balls from Syndra. He can also block away something like the Olaf X's and the Karma, so Lepegui's role is going to be huge. However, it's going to be curious to see how he steps up into this more protective style of a support, because so far he's been playing playmakers. Yeah, he's been playing anything that can jump in, can set up the CC, can set up the fight. He hasn't necessarily been peeling too much for his carries. This time around, he's going to have to play around that shield really, really well if he wants to block all of the damage that you just described. So going to be interesting to see how he plays. And on the other side of the map, Endorser into a Bumblebee, Mordekaiser into a Karma, a Tail as old as time, not necessarily, but Mordekaiser is not going to be having fun for the first couple of levels. So once again, I think we can expect Bumblebee to accumulate some levels of CS advantage. It's going to come down to Varte if he wants to come on top. No, if he wants to get into top lane and get a kill for Endorser. Jesus Christ, I stopped myself at the right time.
It's okay, it's getting late. Christ. We've been here for 3 hours already. Yeah.
Alright, yeah, around that.
Yeah, so it's okay. Potentially the last game, but potentially we could be also getting the silver scrapes, and kind of want both at the same time, not gonna lie. We'll see which team comes out on top. So we talked about where we need to look at, we talked about our early game expectations, and I feel like just one last time before a potentially, series finishing game, just remind ourselves of, the whole split for both of these teams, with Fuzzy Esports coming in, not looking so hot, and then rising up, faltering in the semis, but now they are looking strong. And Vuptrox Academy, they've always been the middle of the pack team, but now, after OG, they were looking good. They've been struggling a bit, but they could redeem themselves.
Yeah, they have been redeeming themselves in that last game. they can carve out a legacy if we want to be using buzzwords in this game. Now, as you said, they are the middle of the pack team. However, today they haven't necessarily been playing like that. Well, at least not in the last one. That was not a performance of a middle of the pack team. That was a performance worthy of a dominant team. And this time around, they have the tools necessary again. They replaced Draven with a Lucian, a carry that can do very much the same thing as Draven. I think perhaps a bit worse, quote unquote, but with Braum, it still should be a high kill lane. So it's going to be interesting to see how it develops, as now, once again, Vuptrox have grouped up together and are looking to get an invade. At least it seems that way.
This time they don't have a hook champion, but if Endorser starts with the Dead Grasp, that is a very effective tool. Pick someone off, Necromancer is here. I don't think he knows what's going on, but he is still going to respect the sheer possibility. Oh, it's so close. I'm not sure if Chrissy was spotted. Varte is definitely now spotted. Dude, get back in the brush. Unless... Ooh. Okay, now they have been spotted. Definitely Necromancer just running away. Chrissy did start with the relentless pursuit. Look at him flanking the entire team. The Piggy is also there on the chase, and Chrissy has finally revealed himself. Necromancer starts with the Phantom Undertow. He's gonna dash out to safety. No kills, no sounds on level 1, but some big plays attempted by the side of Vuptrox Academy.
That was a really smart move there from Piggy. Just trying to loop around the side of Esports. Not, however, getting it in the end. And so, right now, it's going to be Varte starting on the top side with no advantage. Not even going to be getting a leash, it seems, from his mid laner? In Endorser? Yeah, they've kind of just swapped roles, and it's going to be Mordekaiser into Ernekton, which is not what we expected. However, still a matchup nonetheless.
I feel like it makes more sense if you think about it. Sala is able to deal with poke much better, and of course Mordekaiser, he loves to play against melee. All depends what kind of melee, maybe not necessarily this much, but it's better than ranged.
Not this much melee. I mean, Renekton is a guy that can just easily smite you down with the power of Zeus, essentially. Because, like, he just gets so much damage very early on, especially from the, what's it called, Fury or Rage stacks? I think it's Fury stacks. I don't know, every single champion has a different. Anyway, if this Renekton ever gets a lead into Endorser, it's just going to mean that this mid game is going to be very boring for Mordekaiser and very, very fun for Renekton, just because he's going to be able to take over the side lane so efficiently. I mean, Shojin is just a full build for Renekton, so the sooner you can get it, the better you'll be off.
Alright, so far in the early game, the push in from the Lucian, Chrissy, and Lepiggy trying to attempt a similar tactic to last game, but this time Kala on a champion with wave clear will make dives nearly impossible.
Nearly impossible, does have the stun up, but we have to remember Syndra is an immobile champion, and she is pretty squishy, so dives are going to be difficult, not impossible, but not absolutely impossible. As now Endorser is trading into Z, good damage there. However, not much else being accumulated. Now...
Ooh, that's a good pullback onto Chrissy, forces him to flash away. Good hook back Necromancer, and they are able to get that sum out of the AD carry of Vuptrox Academy.
And Fuzzy Esports, they come back swinging at Vuptrox Academy now. Z going in.
And those are flashing away, pulls back Hopper, but he might be in a lot of trouble. That's the first blood with the Undertow secured by Hopper.
Yeah, not sure if that pullback was exactly what Endorser wanted to do in that situation. Did pull both Hopper and Z back closer to him, kind of invited them over for a tea party, and they just, like, wrecked his entire house. That's exactly what happened there. So now, first kill going, however, to Hopper. And I've already talked about his performance on the Olaf in the series against CBA enough, but let me reiterate it. This guy can be really good on this Olaf, and if he can just run into any single lane now, and perhaps even into Varte's jungle, he can screw up the entire operation that Vuptrox are trying to run.
And so far, early game has been the deciding factor in the series, and with the early kill, with the potential that, as you said, of Hopper taking over this entire game, it must feel good for Fuzzy Esports, but the deed is still yet to be done. They need to actually execute on that little advantage they've gotten. Because if it's gonna be Vuptrox Academy that execute first, then we might see a game 4 that was very similar to a game 3.
All about the execution, as you said. Now we're still kind of waiting on level 6s to be hit. Simply because in the mid lane, not necessarily going to be doing too much, but okay, it looks like this is actually pretty smart because now for Esports they've swapped. Endorser is coming into top lane as well, however, to try and get a 1v1 with Z. Does have the Fury stacks up.
Onto Depth's Grasp, but Hopper is up there on the Olaf, and Endorser could be finding himself in quite a bit of trouble.
Ooh.
That's Z with the Q. He calls the meek, and he's gonna secure the kill. Second one, now for Fuzzy Esports.
Yeah, it's Fuzzy Esports with the smart rotation. However, I have to hold my breath as now Varte is trying to do the Infernal Drake. Would be great to have it get skewered right into the bone. And it's going to be forced off of this Drake. So, once again, smart rotations there from Fuzzy Esports. However, indeed, Vuptrox, they do reply, and they still do try and put this Silas into a karma, despite him already having accumulated a little bit of a disadvantage in the CS department. 1 kill on Renekton, 1 kill on Hopper. This situation is looking to get out of control of Vuptrox's hands.
Now an engage in the mid lane. Halotun is just gonna throw the chains out. Doesn't really get a lot. He's hijacked the Dominus. So you have to be watching out in any of the potential trades. Varte now around that ball lane, still level 4. Compared to Hopper's level 6, the jungle difference is tremendous in this game 4, and Varte could be cut out, flashes away to safety. But it's not looking good for the jungler of Vuptrox Academy.
Right now, not having the performance that he needed to have, getting out jungled, as you said, by Hopper. Not the best of looks for him, especially after last game where he had such a big impact. Perhaps was a bit skewed by the performance of his laners. However, now, perhaps it's his time to shine, as now Vuptrox Academy are going to be contesting this Infernal Drake. Its super low smites are up for both sides.
Varte can't get into the pit though. Copper will secure it, and now the fight is breaking out. Lepiki doesn't have the level 6 yet. Z pops the Dominus, and Hopper is in the front line. Kale gets a 2-man stun. The damage is coming through. Is it enough though? Z flashes forward. He will not get a kill. Endorser, he pulls him into the realm of death. He saves Varte, and now it might be the side of Vuptrox Academy trying to turn around. Bumblebee is gonna pick the kill up anyways, and I don't even know who won the fight, but so many kills left, right, and center.
I believe it was a 2-for-2 in the end, and that was fascinating, honestly. So, if we see who actually picked up all the kills, it was Endorser and Lucian, so it does go in the way of Vuptrox Academy in that regard. But still, you give a second kill to Z, which is not the best of outcomes. However, Endorser definitely stepped up in that fight, zoning out Z from the final auto attack on top of Varte. Sure, Varte still fell to the precious hands of Bumblebee's karma, but you know, that was a nice interaction, and it's good to see this friendship blooming between the members of Vuptrox.
Yes. However, Z, 2-1 and 2, 62 CS. He's got a BF sword and 3 long swords in terms of damage. Throw in a ruby crystal. That is one terrifying croc, especially with that first attack. But can he do a 1 versus 3? Guess we'll find out. Slices and dices through Varte, who doesn't have the impale yet. Hopper has joined the fight now, and Z is still alive. He's trying to hit up. Hopper gets the first kill. Varte is so low. Z is still alive. That's a double for Hopper. Lepiki can't do a damn thing. And it's Fuzzy Esports turning the play on its head.
I just cannot believe what just happened. Absolute disaster for Vuptrox Academy. They tried to get a pick onto Z, but he is playing Renekton, ladies and gentlemen, and Renekton with Ruby Crystal. Nonetheless, Hopper ran right to him to try and help out his buddy in need, and they do manage to get the turnaround. 3 kills now more in the bank of Fuzzy Esports, and they're looking to cement their control over this game and also over this series.
Alright, then And now it's looking dire. If you are Vuptrox Academy, Z has gotten his full build, the Spear of Shoji. Now Chrissy, he might be finding himself in some trouble against Kale, but that's not a Fed Syndra yet. Doesn't have all of that burst available.
No available, not available just yet. I mean, it's not the Fed Syndra. Definitely not Z Syndra that we have seen in game, what is it, 2, I believe? So, not in those levels just yet, and I feel like we kind of have to commend Chrissy as well as Lepiggy. They've just been accumulating this CS lead slowly but surely, making sure that they just keep on shoving wave after wave after wave into Kala's turret, denying as many creeps away from him as possible, and now Vuptrox also can get the Rift Herald, so they're not out of the game just yet, but with the 4k gold deficit, this Renekton with his full build, it's going to start looking bad.
Alright, now fighting the bowling, flash away from Chrissy, he's ignited, Kale flashing in! He's gonna get a kill, the Piggy now doesn't have a flash of his own. He's down, that's a double now donated to Kale and Fuzzy Esports. They're pushing the pedal to the metal, and they are looking to get that final game in their favor.
Yeah, and just like that, Pyke has doubled his gold, by the way. He has now 1,500 more gold than his adversary support, so that's just some fun Pyke buffs for you all. And once again, it's just Fuzzy Esports coming out on top in these early skirmishes. That's what this series has been defined by. And looks like Fuzzy, they're just very happy to be going with the tone. Necromancer with the perfect bone skewers, getting the death from below, sharing the gold like the good Samaritan that he is. Farte cannot even go in because he just gets slowed forever.
Alright, there's in mid lane, Endor 7Z just trading blows yet again. And yeah, just alright, so trying to collect my thoughts. Vuptrox Academy, they're trying really hard to force something, but they are just too damn far behind.
Oh no.
As teleport from Kale, he gets the stun to Lepiggy in the mid lane. I think Endorser might be out just narrowly. And Fuzzy Esports, they're gonna secure that bot lane turret without really any contest. Necromancer even popping down into the Ghost Water dive to secure, to ensure no one comes close.
Joining the side of Vuptrox Academy away from this lovely little turret. First one of the game, full turret plate gold as well, and so, ladies and gentlemen, we're sitting at around 8,000 gold lead for Fuzzy Esports at minute 13. That is huge. And the thing is, it would be better for Vuptrox if all of this gold was sitting on someone like Karma. Alright, he's sitting on Z. I was gonna talk about him, but he's just looking to kill Anivia.
They're trying to carry back. That's a level 10 to level 8, but the rest of Vuptrox Academy is here. Even better TP from Lepiggy. Just trying to get that shutdown. It's gonna go over onto the Silas. Good pickup, but how much do they lose for it?
Yeah, they're going to lose this mid lane turret. They definitely wanted to ensure that they wouldn't be leaving this Croc up to chance. They do manage to get the kill. They do lose that tier 1 turret in the mid lane. However, they pull out an ace out of their sleeve, put the Rift Herald down into that top lane. They're looking to get more into that tier 2 turret. Inside of Fuzzy haven't actually gone back yet completely. Endorser, oh no.
Rolled back in by the Bone Skewer, and there comes the death from below Necromancer. Getting the kill. His first one, surprisingly, in a game that is dominated by Fuzzy Esports. But the time has come. And with each passing kill, it's just worse and worse, because it's not like Vuptrox are scaling. They very much aren't. Lucian is going to fall off, and whereas Silas on Anivia is going to be useful, Mordekaiser as well. It's going to be a close one, because Kale's Syndra is going to scale massively.
Yeah, and the thing is, right, you still do have Silas sitting on the side of Vuptrox Academy, which could technically come to fruition. He does have some nice ultis that he can steal away. A Fed Silas that steals a Syndra ulti away, that could be probably huge. I mean, right now, however, he's not fed. He's sitting on just one kill. Just got one proto belt, which isn't nice. He isn't behind by any margin, but Fuzzy are just so far ahead that it's difficult to try and compare anyone on the side of Vuptrox to them, just because, well, they cannot stand a chance. At least it seems right now in a pure even skirmish, so they have to find a fight on uneven footing. Find a fight around the dark spots in Fuzzy's vision, but they're not leaving anything up to random. They're just slowly but surely going by, turret to turret, taking them down one by one. Varte goes in.
Ooh, that was a QSS on Necro Mercer. Varte.
That is so smart.
And the Impale burn for it as now Anivia pulled back in. The Unleashed Power is not enough, but Hopper is gonna smite him with the Reckless Swing. Pops down the Ragnarok, that's one kill for Fuzzy Esports. The Baron isn't even up on the map and it feels like it should be the next objective. Hopper could be now dying to the side of Vuptrox Academy. And out of all people, it will be Le Piggy's Ignite executed.
However, it's a 2-for-1 in the meantime. Renekton is sitting in the bot lane. Varte gets caught out.
Oh my good stopwatch. But Kala should still be able to get a kill with one last Dark Sphere. As a teleport now is going to be channeled. Hello, it's Anivia, pushed away by Skyler. Kala is still on the run. He's got the flash, doesn't have the ulti.
He's kiting.
But the Dark Spheres are just doing the work necessary. That's the stun onto Chrissy. The change will be flashed away from Kala. And he's still alive. He's still dishing out the damage necessary.
What?
Alright, well, that's a stand on to the Le Piggy.
Oh, he's going for more.
Yeah, Vuptrox Academy, they cannot disengage, and as a result, they might just die here. Z picks the kill up. Bumblebee is overextended. That's Chrissy with the kill, despite the flash away from the Karma.
In Vuptrox Academy, they overextend, they stay in the fight for a bit too long, trying to chase down Kala, who just outplays them with fancy footwork, just dashing away from all the CC that they could try and throw at him. In the end, it is a trade. Unfair, once again, for Vuptrox Academy, as the lead of gold grows ever so larger for Fuzzy. 3 kills now sitting on Kala, and he is getting to that Fed Syndra that I was talking about. That terror that can just blow up everyone on your team unless you build magic resist, which clearly these guys aren't too keen on.
Only not 11,000 gold in the lead before the Baron is up. Kala went for the Magi Soul Stealer, 10 stacks, and is going to be blowing up quite a lot of people. And and whereas he hasn't really been the center of the attention ever since he did get that Spear of Shojin. It forced a lot of armor items to come from Vuptrox, which now enables Kala to do whatever he pleases.
Yeah, that's exactly the trade-off that you get. If you're trying to focus down on armor, well, as long as the enemy has a balanced out composition, you're always going to be suffering from someone being able to damage you. And Z has just this entire time been sitting in a side lane. That's exactly what he's doing now. He does have a TP, can join this fray if a fight occurs.
Varte didn't even have the smite, just no way to try and steal this dragon away. Here comes Hopper running to the back line. Kala is impaled. Is there enough damage to focus him down? It doesn't seem so. That's a double for Hopper, and the side of Vuptrox are falling apart. Triple
great
for the Olaf. Kala from over the wall. Home to Chrissy, and ace at 18.5 minutes. And Fuzzy Esports, they're looking unstoppable.
Unstoppable is the correct word to use for Fuzzy Esports. They just slam right into Vuptrox Academy. They run right through them. There is no stopping them, not at all. Z is just way too fat. Kala is playing immaculately on this Syndra, and it's kind of difficult when you're playing into a fat Olaf and he goes right into 4 people of your team, and you just cannot kill him. He's just such a nuisance, and he just did so much work in that single team fight. And so now, no inhibitor turrets fall just yet, just because the respawn timers are very short for the side of Vuptrox, but Baron is going to be spawning up in 40 seconds, and if the side of Fuzzy can secure that, it's going to be very, very difficult for Vuptrox to try and find a way out of this game.
I'm already going to call it. If Vuptrox Academy win this game, that will be by far the greatest upset we've seen this whole split. They don't scale really that much. And they are so far behind, and Varte is gonna get cut down, and so was Endorser. That's 2 people dying just like that before the Baron spawns.
And Baron, well, it's gonna be up now. No smite, of course, for the side of Vuptrox, which means that there is likely not going to be any congestion. Generally, you could say that there is not going to be too much consistent damage leading into this buff, just because you do not have an AD carry, but you have to remember, you have Olaf, you have Syndra, and you have the Mountain Trick, so this guy is just going to fall down incredibly quickly. Vuptrox are trying to do at least something in the meantime to try and trade for it, but they're not even going to be able to get that mid lane turret, so it's just a shame, right? I mean, they had one good game last time around, and right now it looks like they're just about to get stomped, so an unfortunate situation that they're finding themselves in, but really big props to Fuzzy Esports for having snowballed so cleanly thus far. Bot lane has no deaths, at least so far, and so they're going to be achieving the perfect game, at least for themselves, not for that team, but, you know, trying to do it.
And I feel like we should be maybe focusing on the likely victors, Fuzzy Esports. Of course, they are a team that has a lot to prove tonight. They came in the split and still in the 4th or something week they had no wins, and now they stepped up, and even though they showed that they are no match to CBA, they are proving that they are a strong 3rd place team, and it's just one more nexus that separates them from it.
Just one more nexus, just a couple of more turrets and inhibitors that they have to plow through. However, if they do that, it's not a bad accomplishment, right? Just getting 3rd place in the new league as the new coming team. Okay, that's a lot of damage. Oh my god.
Endorser blows his stop. Cal is still unstoppable. This guy is just massive. Now Z is gonna get pulled back in with the Impale. There is enough damage this time. It's a shutdown being picked up by the Skarner, but Fuzzy Esports, they're pushing their way through the mid lane. They take the inhib turret, rotate up to top lane.
And they're looking really to fuss things up as Hopper just kills Silas.
Hopper's on a rampage, is rampaging through the side of Vuptrox Academy. Chrissy is trying to escape, but there will be no salvation tonight. It's a double for Hopper, and Fuzzy Esports will be looking to end the game.
Looking to barrel down on these Nexus turrets. Endorser is trying to go for one last ditch effort here.
Fuzzy Esports looking strongest ever in the game 4 of the 3rd place match. They are trying to focus the Nexus. They've got the Baron buff. Insane gold advantages. From 0 wins to 3rd place in this split. It will be Fuzzy Esports that are proving themselves to be the 3rd best team in SQ1.
As you said it, the 3rd best team in SQ1. Of course, they've gone through such a dramatic change, as you said, from team that had no wins and around 5 losses. They went to the 3rd best by giving us a performance of a lifetime. Z at the end selling all of his items and just buying a single tier. No idea why. Perhaps a tier of happiness? Perhaps. That's no idea. But an incredible series of games for high octane games. The 3rd one was a little bit of an int. I mean, to be fair, Vuptrox definitely did play out of their mind that game. I mean, I just did not recognize them, but as soon as Fuzzy got the tools they needed to try and deal with them, they just did it very, very efficiently. And, well, it was a clean snowball, and they really, really deserved this victory.
Yeah, Fuzzy Esports showing up, and one guy, especially in this last game, Khaled on a Syndra. The most damage, you just saw the graph on this stream by far. 5-0 and 13, and this guy is so versatile in his role, it is insane. I actually did list all the champions he has played in the split. And there are champions like Garen, like Irelia, he has played Vayne, he has played Corki in the bowling, alongside with nearly every AD carry you can name. And he's consistently performing on these champions.
And I mean, we were going into this split, right? That Kala wasn't necessarily a very consistent player. The the big performance that I recall when you say Kala is his 0-6 performance on an Ezreal into a hook bot lane, which just shows how much growth this guy has gone through this entire split from start to finish. He's been picked up and he's been growing into a very consistent carry, and this iteration of Fuzzy was generally a joy to watch. Like, it's been almost 4 hours, 3.5 hours, and never have I been really bored, right? Like, this was fun League of Legends, and it only makes me excited to see what even quote unquote better teams in this league can show us tomorrow as we head into the finals and into the final best of 5 of SQ1.
Definitely, and just one last thing, all of the players on the side of Fuzz Esports definitely stepping up. And Vuptrox Academy not showing up today, but they did still prove a lot, especially in their semi-final against OG. It's kind of sad to go like this, but that's just the nature of esports, and you can't do much. But you mentioned tomorrow is the big match. It's gonna be OG versus CBA in a best of 5 for the whole thing, and tomorrow is definitely the match to watch.
Definitely the match to watch. Do you have any favorites? I mean, we've ended, right? So we can put our put our bets.
I honestly don't know. I feel like CBA.
OG. You have to say OG. We are the OG fan club. God damn it, Kachika.
Technically,
how did you mess this up?
Because I just was being realistic for.
God damn it. Okay, well.
I mean, it's gonna be a close series.
Definitely, yes.
I think CBA defending their title does make them a bit of a favorite, but then OG just stomping through regular season, not necessarily stomping their semi-final. That might be a bit of recency bias, just
yeah, and
clouding my.
They lost
judgment.
like 1 game during the regular season. That's gonna be an incredibly interesting final, and I hope that you all come back to watch it, of course, tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central European Summer Time. Hopefully, it lasts as long as this one did. Hopefully 5 games, because that's all we want, right? So, who got MVP, Kala? I don't know.
Everyone is MVP.
Everyone is MVP in your own regard and in our hearts, and we all love you, and you're very special to us.
Yeah, but honestly, no, it's too hard to pick.
Yeah, I mean, everyone performed today. I think that
in different games.
In different games, Kala, you perhaps.
In game 4, yeah.
In game 4, Z has had also a pop-up performance this game. Bumblebee perhaps went under the radar a bit. Necromercer absolutely smurfed on that pike as well as in the games before. And from Vuptrox, of course, we cannot forget Chrissy's consistent performance, La Piggy's hooks on that Thresh, and Vartes engages as the Skarner. There has been a lot of MVPs that we could pick from, but the TLDR is that this was good League of Legends, and we can only hope that there is more in store for us with SQ1.
Yeah, so the last match of this SQ1 is tomorrow's game at 7 p.m. if you are in Europe, 6 p.m. if you are in UK. This Twitch channel, do not miss it. It won't be me and Karen, so a goodbye for at least this split of SQ1 from both of us. We wish you a good night, and we'll hopefully see you tomorrow.
Have a good one.